Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome back to Tony D's Music Channel. And today I want to discuss something that was pretty important in the world of Paul McCartney, and that's Paul McCartney on Saturday Night Live last week. His fifth time performing musically on Saturday Night Live, the first time being in 1980 when he premiered the Coming Up music video and was in a skit being interviewed by Father Sarducci, the Steve Martin character. Second time being in 1993 when he performed Hey Jude and two other songs and appeared on the classic Chris Farley skit, The Chris Farley Show. Third time being in 2010 performing Band on the Run, and then in 2012 with Martin Short as the host and performing Warm for Christmas Time. And then tonight, or last weekend, May 16th. Anyway, I didn't have high hopes for the show itself at all. I haven't really watched this show in earnest since 2019 or so. And boy, was I disappointed. I don't know if they were just phoning it in for 1 week, or if that's usually how an SNL is now, but it feels like it's being written by very immature teenage boys with a lot of dumb jokes and ridiculous jokes about sex and whatnot. But anyway, that's not the part I'm here to talk about now. Paul McCartney just absolutely killed it. Paul McCartney was funny, he was charming, he was cute, pun intended. He was amazing in his musical performances. Of course, they incorporated him into the opening monologue joke where Will Ferrell was going to take questions from the audience and then saw Paul McCartney there. And then he's talking to Paul on stage, and Paul thinks that Will Ferrell is actually Chad Smith or something like that. And I thought it was really great when Will Ferrell was talking to him and mentions, Paul, you've written many great songs, and then names about 12 or 20 of his great songs. And to my genuine surprise and delight, he mentioned a couple Wings songs, including Goodnight Tonight from 1979, which I have behind me on record. And I just thought that was great because a casual, Paul McCartney fan wouldn't remember Goodnight Tonight from 1979. Wouldn't that have been cool if he could have played that live? But that was never going to happen. But that was really cool. I think it's great that Will Ferrell is a legit Paul McCartney fan, not just like a casual Beatles fan. And he played the new song from the new album, the digital single Days We Left Behind, which is a song that only an elder Paul McCartney could write, where he's looking back on his life from his old age. It's a gorgeous song that I talked about in a previous video. And obviously, he in that song you hear an older voice from Paul because he's looking back on his youth. And besides that, we got the classic song Band on the Run, which of course is always a delight. It's one of my top 5 favorite Paul McCartney songs ever. It's just an epic little rock and roll mini opera song. And I did think it was fascinating how Paul McCartney had a guest drummer. Chad Smith from the Red Hot Chili Peppers was there instead of his usual drummer, Abe, and who of course did a great job. Drumming is very important on Band on the Run. And Paul was in one of the many skits on Saturday Night Live, which was terrible. This skit about mechanics where they're talking about how the car is making a weird noise, very goofy noises, and Paul's one of the mechanics. It was the only good part of that was that there was a joke about how the driver's wheel is on the wrong side of the car. But what was really great was that there was a third performance from Paul McCartney at the very end of the show, when the credits were rolling, and then he took to the stage and started performing "Coming Up," the classic #1 hit single from April 16, 1980, which he's been doing in concert lately, and boy am I thrilled about that. And what a great song to perform when the credits are rolling. Now, it's kind of annoying because the credits were rolling, so we couldn't see Paul's face during that part of the show. NBC really should have just not put the credits there or made the show much longer, because then we found out online that Paul kept performing, and he was playing Drive My Car, and he was playing Help while host Will Ferrell was there playing Cowbell, a reference to his classic SNL skit about I need more cowbell. So, yeah, great job from Paul, just fantastic. Um, I'm hoping SNL has moments that are better than that, because there weren't many funny jokes at all. Perhaps they should just hang it up and stop trying, but that's not going to happen unless they lose money, obviously. In the back of my mind, I was hoping maybe Ringo would join Paul for the new song Home to Us or Now and Then, but whatever, we didn't get that. Anyway, those are my thoughts on Paul McCartney and Saturday Night Live. As far as Paul goes, I would give him an A for this. On Band on the Run, obviously it sounds different from the 30-year-old Paul McCartney singing Band on the Run. There's a little bit of an older voice. But who the hell cares? I am sick to death of people whining about how his voice sounds old. Who cares? How's your voice going to sound when you're 83? Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. Paul McCartney gets an A. Saturday Night Live gets a D. Thank you for watching. Please like the video and comment if you want. I make new stuff every week.